Today I want to show you a transcription that's really cool. That will, first of all, help you learn play lines and chords in between. Second of all, it's really easy to understand because it's on a blues, and it's not even on a jazz blues, but it's on a blues with just 1, 4, 5, right? With only 3 chords. And I'm talking about the solo from Kenny Burrell on Chitlin Con Carne. You can find it on this album here. And he's really like using the minor pentatonic or the blues scale for the most part. And then he's interjecting a chord. And interesting thing is he's always playing the same rhythm for the chord. So the blues is in C, and the first chord that he's interjecting is like a C7 9 chord, C7 sharp 9 chord. And if you have been watching my John Scofield video, you will see that there's another way to play this chord, and that looks like this: 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. And that's maybe not so popular. Many people play like this, which is also very cool, but I think Kenny is playing this, has been playing this chord here because a lot of the lines are in this position, and then it's of course easy if we have the chord where the lines are. So I'm playing it all down strokes because I very often do that when I want to have it more jazzy sounding like it, but you can maybe play also one. Even not sure if he's playing it like this. Just be sure that you count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's how he starts. He's starting on the C7. And right away I'm thinking, right, C minor pentatonic on the C7. He starts with the first line that is really in the C minor pentatonic on the C7 chord. And then the rhythm comes, and in this time only, he's not playing the first chord of the rhythm, so I advise you to just think that chord, and he's just starting on the 3 right away. 1 and 2 and... Which has a nice effect because we expect maybe the sound on the 2, but he's just not playing it. Right, and then he continues. Right, this is such a great exercise for practicing triplets, right? And then going from a single note line, picking a single note line, to going to strumming a chord if you want to. I'm just strumming downstroke. And the left hand really takes care of the strings that are not supposed to ring out, right? So if I'm strumming all the strings. And still he's continuing with the C minor pentatonic, just adding the blue note. The blue note is the G flat. If we add the blue note to the minor pentatonic, it becomes the blues scale. It's just this one note, right? That's different. And then he's playing this rhythm. Right? It's... And then he just adds in the same rhythm. But of course he needs to change the chords now because we're in bar 5, and that's where the F7 is. Really classic blues line. Same chord. It's so cool because he always comes back to this rhythm. It acts like a frame, and in between he phrases very bluesy. And just to be really clear, if you want to learn to phrase more in a jazzy way, be sure that you really play with a recording. It's great if you can count the subdivisions and understand the stuff on the paper right, but the feeling always comes from the music itself. And so last 4 bars. So that's what I hear here. He is not maybe playing it so loud like I do, but it makes a lot of sense, right? It's the G, F sharp, going to the F7, sort of a chromatic approach. So for a change we have a different rhythm here. And if you play it like this, in the blues scale up here, right, then you can leave your finger here, right, you slide in with the blue note and right, and then he continues. So the rhythm always starts on the 2, that's a little tricky. 1. And now he's getting really bluesy. Right, he's making like a smear bend on the E flat. That means it's like an idea of a bending. It's not, you know, approaching a half tone step high or a whole tone step. It's just like a little. Again, back to the rhythm. And here he's starting pretty high on the G flat, that's the blue note. And then I think instead of playing many notes on one string, I'm going into the next position. That's sort of more stable, right? Doing a lot of position switching and slides and hammering on one string can be a little bit unstable, so. Right, and then he gets back to the rhythm. Yeah, so I would always think, okay, where does the line end? It ends on the 1, so I know where the 2 is, sort of, right? 1. Same rhythm. 1. Right, a little smear bending again. Going to the F7, and here again we're just skipping the chord on the 2. 1, 2. Right, just to have a little bit more room for the phrase. 1. Super bluesy, so just if you know anything about blues, right, it's really hard to put the phrasing into, you know, music notation, so just listen to it over and over again, and then we're back to 1. Right, so you can also think like the rhythm always comes really tight, and in time, you know, it's really super accurate if you want to, and in between the bluesy stuff, you know, you can take the freedom and play a little bit laid back, you know, fool around with the time, but then the rhythm comes back in and it's right in time, which is such a cool, you know, like, such cool opposites, you know, like more loosely and more strict. I like this. So it's still all C minor pentatonic. Right, that's a shell voicing G7. Right, on the 2 and another shell voicing 2 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So what can you do with it, right? First of all, a lot of blues licks. Don't ever underestimate how much you can do with blues. You can always interject it. I like it if jazz guitar players have a bluesy influence, you know, like John Scofield. I like the sort of, you know, having a bebop line and a bluesy line. I like this thing so much. And what you could do as an exercise is just to play this rhythm in this blues form and improvise on your own or with a jam track, but always be sure to have those chords there. I'm freaked out. Experimenting, and I see you next week. Bye.